It's exciting to be able to introduce Jacqueline Hanna, who is here to speak with us today. It's great to have her join us. She has spent 17 years in natural foods, 9 of those as the general manager of Common Ground Food Co-op in Urbana, Illinois. She led that co-op through 2 expansions. She founded their Food for All economic access program. And while she was there, the years from 2008 to 2013, that co-op was the fastest growing retail food co-op in the country. She's now the assistant director at Food Co-op Initiative, which is an organization that provides, information, training, and technical assistance to startup co-ops like ours. And she was part of our Firebrand team. She has been incredibly supportive of our project over the years, and we're very lucky to have her here today to talk about the opportunity before us. Please meet Jacqueline Hanna, and James, if you would go to, looks like you already have, go to, yes, full screen for her, that'll be awesome. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Grant. First off, guys, we have to take a minute because they're not going to do it for themselves. Was that not inspiring? Is your board not deserve a round of applause? I know they can't see you doing it, but just amazing work. Really impressed with this board. Thank you all for giving me a few minutes to talk with you today. I love that. And yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk with you all today. I have been involved in supporting Chicago Market from a distance, been a fan, a supporter, a helper for many years, since almost the very, very beginning. I have talked at other meetings you all have had, never quite like this, but times are a little different. Yes, absolutely. See what I'm saying here, Becky? Becky says you guys rock. So this has been an interesting year because your board, you all heard that, that update earlier this year where things were at. You've been organizing for years and things were at a critical point. They made a really tough decision about whether to just give up the location or to give feasibility one more chance. Now, luckily, the CTA came forward with some new terms possibilities that made it obvious what they should do. But when I was called to say, hey, could you join the Firebrand team? We could use just one more set of eyes that has a lot of GM experience, general manager experience. And I said, yes, I thought this is a good idea, but I wasn't necessarily optimistic. Let's say, I think that's where a lot of us were feeling. I think the board was feeling that way. I think you guys were feeling that way. Not quite sure this was going to work. And I had not seen all the background information, all the details. As I joined the Firebrand team, I was able to see all that. And I don't know about you. I mean, I was part of helping with that report, with that research. I was on site. I got to meet people, look at the site. I got to see the store redesign happening within your space and watch those brilliant minds working. But never have I quite felt the chills that I felt when I heard your board really sharing today the results of that report. I'm guessing you're all feeling it too, but this is kind of a magical moment for Chicago Market. All those years of work, all those years of building, of waiting, of the board's work have really come to this moment. It turns out that the Gerber building, now this is my opinion, that's the building, that's the site. It's a magical site. We've known that. It's beautiful. It's also difficult because of its shape, but everything in that report brought it together and really said, this can work. Now, when you're building a food co-op, I say it's a lot like riding on an old wooden roller coaster. And those of you who are from Chicagoland might remember the Eagle. Six Flags Great America, that whole, when you're going up any roller coaster that has a really high drop and you're slowly climbing to the top. And at a certain point, you feel like you're never going to get to it. You're never going to get to the exact top. You're not actually going to actually get to the drop, the fun part, the thing you came here for. That is what this last year has felt like, right? We've been that close, never sure if we're going to really get to the top and get this ride to go. And now all the pieces are in place to make that happen. And once it happens, once we cross that line, once the project is fully funded, whoosh, then the wild ride and the fun begins. But to get there, of course, one, we're not going to stop saying it, the CTA piece has to come together and negotiations are in process. But two, there's something that needs to shift with us, with those of us who are owners of Chicago's market, with our community that has already started. just the amount of volunteer energy that has existed over the last 3 to 6 months, which has just been off the charts compared to the 2 years before that. Seeing the growing interest, 60 people RSVPing to possibly run for the board, to come learn what that's all about. That is, I think, everyone kind of feeling this magic. This might really happen. This might really happen now. Now we know it really, really can. The numbers, the data, as I actually forget how many pages we actually came to. I was not lead on the project. I was part of the project. But Grant sending 48 pages of data and research, really in-depth work. And we had someone on the team who specifically ran a food co-op in an urban dense market like yours. And just real quick, when we say that, we don't mean any urban dense market. Like, we're talking Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle. We're not necessarily talking Milwaukee, Indianapolis. Though those are big cities, they do not actually have what is considered that intense urban density that creates a different kind of market. And as that piece snapped into place, the rest of the story did too. And we were lucky enough to have an expert in running exactly those kinds of stores on the team. So as we're lining these pieces up, so many people, experts in different fields coming at from different angles, we have a high degree of confidence that what we put down on those pieces of paper is accurate. So now what? The Gerber site is feasible. We can do this. You guys have already raised some of the owner loan money you'll need. We need a lot more owners, and we will need to go back to doing more owner loans and more donations. Can we do it? Yes, you absolutely can do it, actually. Food co-op startups in communities much smaller than Chicago have gotten to that level of owner loans, have gotten to that level of donations, have gotten to the level of ownership that you all need to move this co-op forward. And the board will be putting hard numbers to that in the coming couple weeks. How many more owners do we need? You know, how many more, where are we at? You guys have a very high number of owners for startup food co-ops nationally, but for Chicago, there is a lot more room to grow that. And now that we know it's feasible, now that we have a plan, we can go out there with confidence and talk about that and get those people to join. And that's going to be you. That's going to be you and me and the board, but we're all going to have to be out there talking with excitement and confidence. So what could Chicago Market accomplish? Why should we be doing this? Because that piece that was shared with you earlier about nobody else is doing local the way you guys could do local. There is this gap. The amount of impact you could have on local farms, local producers is huge. The dollars that you could be driving just through that one tiny store to those producers and farmers can transform their lives and their ability to serve the Chicago community. I have gotten to witness that firsthand as the general manager. I have talked to the farmers who have been able to tell me that they've been able to bring back their sons and daughters who wanted to work on the farm. There wasn't enough work, there wasn't enough income to do that. They've come back and been able to continue to work on the farm and actually keep growing and growing because of the steady, absolute market that the co-op provides. I have talked to the vendors who started this little idea of maybe making their mom's tamales in the evening in their kitchen and selling them, and watched them be able to turn those into full-fledged businesses that are supporting their family. This is the kind of impact Chicago Market's going to have, but not just on their lives. That's going to change Chicago. That's going to change the whole local food scene, because there's going to be this place where people can test these products, people can come to get these products, and it is going to spread, and all from Chicago Market. And that piece about being accessible is absolutely key. We absolutely do believe, the whole team, that you need to open with an accessibility program that will give people who are on food stamps, who are using WIC, discounts on their food every single day, that will have a basics program where some 4 key items like milk and bread are being, and eggs, or some products in those categories are being sold at wholesale price, so they're very accessible. At the same time, you have this incredible local food that may be in some areas at a much higher price point. It will vary up and down, and it'll be something everyone can be a part of. I just can't stress enough that this is an incredible opportunity, but that it's in our hands. And Chicago Market is the largest startup food co-op that is going to open in the nation in the last decade. There are over 100 communities across the country right now working to open their own startup food co-ops, and there are over 150 that have opened in the last 15 years. And if that 15 years, only one other startup was close in size to what Chicago Market will be. You guys will be really making some history come true, both for the entire co-op movement, for your food movement in your community, and for Chicago. And we can't wait to see it. But that's going to mean we got to grow owners together. We got to get the enthusiasm out there. We got to get the message out there that yes, Chicago Market is a real thing. It's viable and it's going to happen. And we have to be ready to help make those loans, make those donations, or find the people that can. But can you raise this kind of money? You absolutely, positively can. And I can't wait to watch you do it. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacqueline.